Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Takedownman. And on tonight's series, we are almost, not quite, but almost to the end of the Confessions of Rabid, Cannibal. It has about 6 more episodes to go. So how have you been handling it? Have you been sleeping well? Well, this is the Confessions of a Serial Killer. Hello again. I know you have been waiting for my last confession, but this is not my last one. And why are you waiting, anyways, for them? My confessions are for you. Yeah, right. My confessions are not for you, but me. To leave a legacy for those I leave behind. That's right. My sins, or what you would call a sin. I am hoping one day that everything I have done will encourage others to bring out their true predator. See, love makes women do stupid things. I remember whenever I had a relationship in my 20s, and there was a beautiful woman that I was with, but I used to beat the hell out of her, and no matter how many beatings I had given her, she would still stick around. It was almost like the worse that I would treat her, the more she would love me. And it stayed like this until one day I got tired of her, but she wouldn't leave. And well, I found her at a homeless shelter anyways, and whenever I did, she was on drugs and alcohol, so I got some Valiums and some vodka, and well, I gave it to her, and whenever she was really out of it, I took her outside into the woods, and I buried her alive. To this day, they still haven't found her. And I only tell you that to tell you this, that there was this house by mine, way out in the country, and it was left to a man who was a drug addict, and he had his girlfriend there. I loathe them so much. They had no power, no water, nothing. They would get drunk or high and fight all through the damn night, disrupting my sleep. And I remember trying to go out and trying to be civil for once. However, they just wouldn't listen. They'd just ignore every request I ever given them. One day, the guy's girlfriend, that stupid bitch, was out in the middle of the road screaming that he was some kind of butt fucker or something. I can't remember. But I had had enough. And the peace I had attained since Africa was wearing off very, very fucking quickly. So that night, I walked into the house while they were sleeping, because they used to leave all the doors and windows open whenever they slept due to the heat. I looked around the house just to see what was there and how I could take care of this problem. I had seen that they had many curtains in the house, and the wood on the inside looked like it was pretty rotted by the windows. And with, well, everything with the house looked pretty fucked up. So I looked around a little more, and I went back home. Those drunk asses, man, oh man, they were out so hard they didn't even notice I was there, not even once. I went back home and plotted how to do this. And I noticed that I had some tea lights. And someone in that situation, such as them, would have to use candles. And knowing that the police normally don't investigate homeless people such as they were, even though they owned the home, they lived like bums. So I knew there wouldn't be much investigation if the house caught fire. It would just be what drunks or drug addicts do. They have candles going. Well, they didn't really think about what they were doing. Well, that's it. Plan accomplished. So I went to sleep. Now the next day, there they were, drunk again and at it. Just yelling and screaming and fighting and arguing. And of course, after a night of fighting, they both ended up passing out. So I waited a little while, and then I went over to their house. I put a candle by every window and the doorways. I took the tea lights out of the metal bottoms and lit them all. 2 were right beside them, and they were so messed up and out of it that they didn't even so much as stir. I walk out of the house, and around 15 minutes later, I started to see smoke coming out of the house. And then it became a lot of smoke. But the next thing I know, the guy's girlfriend comes running out screaming that he won't get up. He won't get up. Help me, help me. So I told her, well, let's go back to the house and get him. So I walked over to her and told her, okay, here's what we need to do. Frantically, she's looking at me saying, yes, yes, what do we need to do? I just started hitting her. Started hitting her and hitting her. Until, well, she was unconscious. So I picked her up and carried her back into the place and laid her back on the bed. Not thinking about how much smoke was in the house, I started choking. I thought I was going to die for a minute. The smoke was getting really bad. The fire was almost to the bed. And by this point in time, I'm guessing the little bitch woke up again as I got out of the house. But this time, she was screaming. And the screams that she gave, I don't know, they were just so peaceful. I guess the fire reached her, but damn, it felt so good to hear those screams. That stupid bitch didn't even know that vengeance is mine. Mine, saith the rabid cannibal. I waited and waited until the fire was coming out of everywhere. Then I called the fire department. They eventually got there about 30 minutes later. They came out and asked why I smelled like smoke. Fuck, I forgot to change. However, without missing a beat, I told them that there had been a man and a woman hanging around that house, and I was trying to see if they were in there. But the fire was just too hot, and I couldn't get close enough to see if anybody was in there or not. Fuck, that was a close call. Quite a while later, the fire was put out, and they did find the bodies. The bodies were so damaged you couldn't even tell who they were. However, everything was ruled out as an accident because they had also found a lot of busted beer bottles and some drugs around the house. They also found a lot of chemicals and so on that make drugs. So all was well. And once again, I was alone out in the middle of nowhere to do, well, what I do. Left to my own devices. Do you want to know more? Are you sure you want to know more? Then you can come back tomorrow, and I will tell you more of how a God handles his situations. The predator to the prey. This is my confession. Okay, everyone, sleep well.